What is something you spend a ton of money on that the vast majority of people never would? My daughter's cheerleading team. It is so freaking expensive. But she really loves it, and it's done tons for her self-confidence and time management skills. Plus, I never hid from her the struggles to find the money. I donate my plasma to help pay for the travel expenses, so she really appreciates being able to be on the team. This is her last year, and I'm surprised to find I'm actually a little sad. I coached for 2 years, and we didn't even compete, and holy frick, our clothing alone was like $600 plus. I covered the costs of a girl who couldn't afford it, and tried to keep it a secret, but ended up with a mom drunk texting me about letting some little girl get a uniform without paying her fees. That's the year I quit. Cheer is fucking wild. You go for supporting your daughter. My girlfriend was a coach 4 years at a competitive gym, and holy frick, the parents of some of these kids. My GF would get so many aggressive texts. Lita, just say, if I was the coach I would have been fired, lol. They don't want her to be mean, but they want their kids to win first place every time. She promised the kids that if they had no mistakes during one of the completions, she would take them all roller skating and pay for it. Well, they ended with 2 counts, or whatever they're called. They weren't drops, but they counted against the score, so she said no skating. Some of the parents got so aggressive and upset. I know she loved the job, but the parents were ruining it for her. Don't get your daughter horseback riding lessons. My parents fell into that trap, and let me tell you, it's a money pit. I'm about to drop $1,000 to repad my flute. Hey fellow flutist, I dropped a few grand on a new head joint earlier this year. Totally worth it. Yes. Someone who gets it. Congrats on the new acquisition. Yup, I get it too. My hubby sax needs an overhaul cause it's nasty from sitting almost 20 years. $700. I feel bad we can't afford it, but that is the price of a new one. The question here is, if it's worth it. If it's not, I'd find it cheaper. If it is, then go for it. I spent about $250 getting my $60 trumpet lacquered after a lot of the silver started to wear down. Most people said not worth it, but the trumpet got me through my entire 8th grade year, my first and second marching season, and my entire concert season last year. So your case I understand. $1,000 on a repad though. I don't care what your flute is, that's too much. Not too much, if it's my professional instrument. The guy actually has super reasonable prices. He's done my last few coats, clean, oil, adjust, for $75 each. Sucks that it's a lot of money, but that's kinda the thread. I raise butterflies. When the caterpillars eat their way through the plants in my yard, I go buy them more. I've spent probably $400 on them last year. I bought a ton of fennel to finish up my swallowtails, another ton of milkweed for my monarchs, and tomato plants for my hawk moths. Edit, or, thank you for the sparklies. I'll make a post about it when it's not Thanksgiving. Asterisk WHERE would I put this post? Grin. Edit 2. For those who keep asking, I'll let them all go, but I'll hold on to the moths until nighttime. How? You plant their host plant, they lay eggs and the caterpillars chomp the plant down. You just make sure they don't run out of plant, or get eaten by lizards/wasps. I used to raise them indoors, but I had more time then. They can get sick, in which case, you have to stop growing that plant in that area for a bit. And no, I'm not on TV. There's lots of us. This is a public good though, most people wouldn't spend money on that, but it's highly commendable that someone out there does. Right? I came here to see if anyone else listed my personal frivolous spending, and this guy's out here making a better world. Yay. A friend of the pollinators. I love you. Massages. I get terrible tension headaches and medication never did the trick. Massages keep it in check. Edit. Obligatory thank you for the gold and silver. This is my first gold, and I'm pretty stoked. Also, thank you to everyone for your advice. I've tried some of the things you've suggested, but I'm getting lots of new ideas. Thanks for caring. I relate to this. I have 2 different massage therapists I see. One that I pay out of pocket for, the other my health insurance pays for. I have migraines and serious back issues. Keeps me off painkillers. Yes, I recently started getting all my massages as 90-minute sessions too. My massage therapist actually lives down the street from me 2 blocks. She works out of her home, so I'm super spoiled. Getting regular massages has helped a ton with my migraines and tension headaches. These are an amazing investment. Most people don't understand the importance of human touch. Plus it leaves you so relaxed, lowering your risk for other issues. I spent about $5,000 turning my garage into a free weight gym. The Ups guy loved me for about 4 months straight. Edit. For those that have been asking. Horse mat to cover the floor, since it's cheaper and more durable than gym matting. A couple of dumbbell racks with dumbbell sets 5 pounds to 85 pounds. A good deadlift bar. A good cambered squat bar. A good bench bar. Flat bench heavy duty. Adjustable bench. 2 weight trees. 1 for either side of a heavy duty power rack. 14 45-pound plates. 8 25-pound plates. 8 10-pound plates. 8 5-pound plates. A set of chips. A heavy duty bob. Good bar clips. A range of assorted rubber bands. A good lat pull down machine. A decent heater, an okay Wi-Fi speaker, old mixing bowl to hold chalk. I've been lifting for 18 years, just got tired of gum fees. Edit 2, misspelled gym. Leaving it. Also leaving the wrong. The. Edit 3, horse mat and the Ups guy have a lovely relationship in the far far away land of improper. The. Soon to be expecting their first child gum. I've wondered for some time whether it's a bad idea to order 40-pound boxes of cat litter from Amazon because of pissing off the delivery guy. Now I see that I've actually been going easy on him. Amazon delivery guys around here are like Uber drivers, never see the same one twice it seems. But my USPS mailman lives like 4 houses down the street and he's a bro, so I try not to go too hard on those deliveries. For some deliverists, heavy stuff pays better and trolleys are a thing. If you had heavy stuff coming through every day, you would have been my best delivery. Source. 5 years as a deliverer. Fermentation equipment. I love fermenting stuff. I made a fermented cranberry soda for this Thanksgiving. Edit. Oh wow, I didn't expected this response. Thanks for the award. I have a small setup RN, but it's on my plans to expand it. I mostly do non-alcoholic beverages like sodas, tepache and kombucha. For the cranberry soda I just used a cup of ginger bug and made a cranberry sauce with orange and natural cranberries. Then I just added water, probably like 1.5 liters, and let it ferment for 5 days. After that I bottled the soda and did a secondary fermentation for 2 days in a dark, hot environment, and after that I left it on the fridge for a day so the gas settles and prevents spillage. Insulin. If you're close to the border, come to Canada. It's a bit cheaper here. Seltzer water. It substantially cut down on my alcohol intake, and I never drink soda anymore. But to anyone who had never been to my house, you'd think I was stocking up for the end of the world, or looking into becoming a seltzer distributor. Buy a 5-pound cylinder of CO2, a regulator, hoses and a carbonator cap that fits soda bottles. I drink about 200 liters of soda water a year and the rig cost $100. Check the web for kit lists, worth every penny. Edit. America has SodaStream, but there are 3 advantages to the DIY rig. You can make and store multiple bottles in the refrigerator. It's fizzier, and it's a lot cheaper. Edit 2. This popular science article is the one I referenced years ago. I also fill the bottle completely, squeeze out about 1/4 of it, put the cap on with no air in the bottle, and chill before charging. Also thanks for the gold. I quit drinking alcohol on August 1st. I go through a 12-pack of key lime LaCroix and a 15-pack of 750 milliliters Gerolsteiner every 3 weeks and still spend less than I did on wine. If they ever find out LaCroix or Topo Chico or Badoit or Gerolsteiner are carcinogenic, I'm screwed. I don't drink anymore. I do think a crap ton of Topo Chico. I get tired of buying it weekly, so I just buy like $100 worth at a time. I get some funny looks when I roll to the checkout. Computer components. Set to drop an ungodly amount of my paycheck on Friday at Micro Center. It's been 6 years since my last CPU upgrade, don't judge me. Welcome to the inspiration for my question. 8 cores 16 threads, here I come. Ryzen 3800? 3700X. 3800 is the same thing in terms of gaming performance. I like to collect fossils and pretty minerals that I spend way too much on, but it's my hobby and I love it. Cheezel mayo. Was gonna also say cheese. What's your favorite ATM? Swiss Gruyere or a good Stilton? What about you, fellow cheese lover? I'm a cheesemonger who is addicted to my own supply. Can I have a job? Between us you'll be bankrupt in a month, but we'll sure have fun. A mixed reef aquarium for my living room. The amount of money you can potentially spend in the hobby is ludicrous, but there is something captivating about watching all the interactions in a marine ecosystem as it grows. Many of the best looking corals and fish can also be grown sustainably by aquaculture suppliers now, which I think is important if you want to be a responsible pet owner. The other big draw for me is all the gear and tech which is available to tinker with. From Protein skimmers to pumps, power heads, refugiums, reactors, and dosing equipment. You could spend thousands if you wanted. And that's nothing compared to the cost of some specialty fish or corals with really radiant colors. I hear you. You should come share in /r/ref tank. I would love to see your tank. I'm a few years in and still feel like I suck at this. I thought I had finally figured out grass, algae and cyano last year, but now it's back with a vengeance. To top it off, I'm into guitars and cars. I really need a better job or less expensive hobbies. Yarn and knitting needles. Edit. Mayo. It's funny how we all unanimously agree that we have already spent way too much on yarn we don't use, but would absolutely spend insane amounts of money on more. For those of you wondering, yarn can get expensive. I've spent easily $120 on my current project and it's only 1/4 of the way done, lol. And if you're in the US, put your phone down for a few minutes and have a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, seriously. It's hard to go back to cheap yarn once you try the good stuff. Also, why buy a sweater for $50 when you can make one for $300? Also, why buy a sweater for $50 when you can make one for $300? Once upon a time, a very young and very naive Cyclone_Madge said to herself, I should learn to knit. It will save me so much money. So she did. But it didn't. The end. I finally had to tell my wife that she can't get any more yarn until she clears space in her already large collection. 2 dressers, one with 4 drawers, the other has 6, a plastic 3-drawer thing on wheels, a very large plastic tote, and 4 of those cube organizer things with the fabric boxes are all filled to bursting with yarn. We do not have any more space for any more yarn, and we lost a pet after it ate some stray yarn. I don't care how she clears the space for more yarn, but she can't get any more until an equal amount is gone. Edit. This took off. To address a few things, I've already moved things, gotten her more storage, built her something to store the yarn in. After we lost our cat, I told her she had to be much neater about the yarn, and she was slashes. She was extremely affected by the death of our cat as well and almost gave up crocheting. It took a year for me convince her to take it up again, during which time she bought more yarn. She has pretty severe adult ADHD, and it takes a lot for her to finish a project. We rent and live paycheck to paycheck, and don't have a lot left over after bills are said and done, and she doesn't sell the projects that she does finish. I love my wife and I wish we had the money and space for her to buy all of Jones, but the reality is we just don't, and that's a fact. Also note that I did not tell her she wasn't allowed to get more yarn. I said she could if she has space for it. Big difference. But how are you to knit that hat without the cream colored yarn when it'll go perfect in the color scheme but all you have is damn white? Chicken feed. Those little buggers are just stomachs covered in feathers. I was going through 200 pounds a month for a while, even though they free range and eat everything they can find. I live out in the country and somehow adopted 4 wild hens that came over from my neighbor's flock. I tried to domesticate them, but they just decided to free range all over my yard. I was emotionally invested at this point. I have 6 ducks and damn it wanted some chickens to pet, so I bought 3. They became wild free rangers with the rest, and suddenly about 8 more showed up. I'm on month 6 now of feeding all these birds, and I get to pet 0 of them. Wanted chickens to pet. Damn, I felt that emotionally. I get to pet 0 of them. You not like this. 3D printer. It's amazing. Edit. Bulbous or pod tax. Edit 2. The model. What have you printed with it? I'd love to have one, but I'd probably just print something really dumb once and forget about it. Edit. You guys decided to really blow my inbox up, didn't you? Why do I see myself in that comment? You could 3D print an exercise treadmill for hanging laundry on. Oh man. I'd love to buy a 3D printer. I just know that it would be fun for a month, then it would just collect dust. Fencing and fencing accessories. Not the barbed wire type, but the stabbing people with long pointy metal sticks kind. Look at Mr. Fancy Pants over here with his Leon Paul gear. I usually just fence with a rusty rubber and a quadruple layered t-shirt. /s. Effects pedals. I took some to a friend's house a few weeks ago for a stoner noise jam and he said, "What is that?" About $2,000 in pedals. I was about to push back as it seemed absurd. Then I realized he was right. Edit. Shit. I'm not alone. Stoner noise jam. Right on. Asian ball jointed dolls. Never get into this hobby. Drugs are cheaper and easier to explain. Edit. My first silver. Thanks kind stranger, I'm reading all the comments now, and I'm so glad I got to pass along this joy. Man, I don't know what kind of dolls you collect, but I just searched Asian ball jointed dolls, and am scared of dolls again. I just googled this, and goddamn some of those are gorgeous, and then others will haunt my nightmares. A very polarizing hobby, it seems. I spend $800 on a bow, like a bow and arrow, for target shooting. I told my friends and they all told me I was nuts. I probably am. Wait until you spend over $1,000 on a bear bow and then realize you need sights and a rest and a stabilizer and this and that and the other thing you can't live without. That's when you really start questioning your sanity. But I do love that thwack sound. I think I'm in the top 1% of chickpea consumers. Astronomy gear. Just one eyepiece can cost significantly more than most entry-level telescopes. A large well-made mirror for a homemade Dobsonian I plan to build will cost as much as a new car, $25,000 or so. One of the few hobbies where it's actually possible to spend billions of dollars on equipment. Took courses of Accutane for severe acne. Gave me my life back. Accutane single-handedly gave me my confidence back. I never even had it that bad, but the blemishes just destroyed my personal image. 100% worth every penny spent on it, and the copious amounts of moisturizers and chapstick. You know, I randomly stumbled into the Accutane subreddit for some reason, and if anyone questions you as to why you spent so much money on it, they're freaking bonkers if they don't understand not being taken seriously whatsoever as a human being, because you have a face full of acne is a painful experience that a lot of people are lucky that they don't have to go through. Fountain pens. I haven't sunk much into it yet because poor, but I'm planning to spend a lot in the near future. I met an old guy at jury duty with a $700 pen. He said he collects them and already has his pens assigned to specific kids in his will. His $700 pen wasn't even his most expensive pen. He was very proud and let me hold his $700 pen. He was all about pens. I stood there and talked to this guy for 20 minutes after we were dismissed. I don't like pens as a hobby, but I like listening to people talk about crap they are passionate about. Someone I know has grandkids who are super into pens. They were 8 and 11 years old when they begged their grandma to take them to a pen convention in Atlanta. They were so excited. Spent the whole weekend talking about pens with the attendees, most of whom were at least 50 years older than them. We went to lunch, and they were talking about expensive pens they'd bought with their allowance they'd been saving up, and talking about how the pen was an everyday carry, and then going on about all sorts of trivial details about pens that apparently fascinated them. Weird little kids, like old men in little kid bodies. Whoa. Pen convention? Yeah. I'm so into that idea. Magic, the Gathering. Asterisk LOOKS at piles of CARDBOARD asterisk. Asterisk LOOKS at credit card STATEMENTS asterisk. You mean two differently shaped piles of paper? Shame? I feel yeah. Books. This is my answer. I buy them compulsively. Trying to get better though. I went in a bookstore today and didn't buy anything. Dungeons and Dragons dice. Dear God. Vinyl records. Most people are like, don't you know Spotify is like $10 a month? For me it's cassettes. Like new ones. From new music. Well, not anymore, but bath products. I would spend at least $500 per month on bath bombs and bubble bars, etc. Lush. Yeah, lol. Used to be a huge Lushy. Per month. Damn, I thought I had a habit, and I'm not spending a fraction of that. Were you using all of it, or hoarding? Lush is expensive, but I can get 4 uses out of a bath bomb, and I have no idea of how you could go through $500 a month. At 30 baths per month, that's over $16.60 per bath. Even if you use a whole bath bomb and part of a bubble bar, I find it hard to see how you spent that much. How many baths did you take per day? Art supplies. More than half of it remains unused. I just like looking at them. Board games. I've got a collection of over 230 plus about 160 expansions for those. Granted, the hobby is growing, but I'd wager the majority of people haven't experienced much past Cards Against Humanity. I texted my friend / neighbor / DM if I could borrow some games for Thanksgiving, and he sent me his Board Game Geek list of 505 games. His board game room is a sight to behold. Watches. Too many watches to wear. I just really like them. Took me ages to find a watch geek in this thread. Cats, edit, wow, thanks for the silver. My first. Pretty sure lots of people spend a fortune on those things. They'd be up there with Magic, The Gathering or Meth's expensive hobbies. Guitars. Guitar pedals, my man. At some point you can look at all your guitars and think maybe that's enough, but there's no such thing as enough pedals. Edit. Join us at /r/guitarpedalsjerk. Blueberry Nutri-Grain bars. I'm always buying that crap, man. I'm addicted to them. Ubers. I live in New York City. The subway does mostly work. Kinda sometimes, but I'm kinda addicted to being chauffeured in a car that's not a cab and looking out the window. At the risk of sounding classist, the subway is so mentally and physically exhausting. But also I'm poor, so. Butter. Sure, I could buy that Lando Lakes crap for $3/LB, but have you ever tried Beardy Barrett? It's stunning. Edit. Spelling. I switched to Kerrygold and now Lando Lakes tastes rancid to me. If I upgrade from Kerrygold, I won't be able to afford butter at all. Edit. We clearly need a butter club. Cycling. Same. Bikes in particular. I don't know off the top of my head how many we own. The best comments are, I bet it was over $1,000. I usually respond with, oh, yes, while thinking in my head, that's about what I paid for the front wheel. Movies. I have Netflix, Disney Plus, etc. Yet I still buy at least one movie a month, usually more, even though I already have a ton of movies / TV series. Mechanical keyboards. Coffee. I've literally drank 2/3 my body weight in coffee this year. This year, that's not really that much coffee. 1 cup weighs half a pound. If you are 200 pounds, say, that's like 370 cups of coffee. That's like 1.1 cups of coffee each day this year. No, I'm talking about the weight of the beans that I've bought. With the weight of the water and milk, then it's probably nearly 10 times my body weight. Honestly, I've drunk a lot of coffee. Boo, but I did the math.